If someone put me on the spot and asked about my all-time favorite video game, I'd blurt out Fancy Pants Man quicker than a squirrel nabbing a nut. But then, just like any other shiny acorn to that squirrel, Elden Ring comes in a close second. And while Fancy Pants Man offers a delightful romp through a whimsical wonderland, with challenges and secrets as plentiful as candy in a piñata, Elden Ring takes you on a journey that's longer than a giraffe's neck and comes with a side order of torture, pain, and enough agony to even make a masochistic porcupine wince. So Elden Ring throws you into the fray like a hapless cartoon character tumbling into a cactus patch. But fear not, it's like a buffet of strategies and tools, where every death is just another helping of a humble pie. I've plucked more hours in this game than a sloth takes to cross the road, and my death count, well, let's just say I've become intimately familiar with the "you died" message, like it's a family member I can't seem to shake off. But when I'm not off traversing the lands between, you can catch me buried under a mountain of textbooks, trying to decipher the secrets AI. Yep, amidst surviving computer science classes in college, I'm determined to harness the power of machine learning to revolutionize everything, from coffee making to dragon slaying. Because why settle for just one world when you can conquer them all, right?
And that got me thinking, can I merge my passion for AI with 2022's Game of the Year? To put it in a more comprehensible manner, can I make an AI play Elden Ring?
If you find yourself lost in the labyrinth of the internet, desperately seeking projects dedicated to teaching AI to play video games, you'll stumble upon a term that's more prevalent than loot crates in a modern AAA title: reinforcement learning. Now, reinforcement learning is a branch of machine learning in which an agent, such as our AI-driven player, learns to make sequential decisions in an environment to maximize cumulative rewards. Now, what does that mean? Let's see an example. Behold the majestic four-legged pillow, also known as our esteemed agent in this grand experiment. Picture him as a furry Einstein contemplating the mysteries of the universe. Except, instead of the theory of relativity, he's pondering whether to snatch that tantalizing treat, or hold out for double the deliciousness. It's a classic battle of wills, folks. Dog versus snack. Patience versus primal instincts. And after rigorous training, and probably a few snacks of my own, our furry friend learns that delayed gratification equals a bigger bounty, so he bravely waits, resisting the urge to pounce like a 6-year-old on a trampoline. Truly a tale of canine heroism for the ages.
Given the constraints of the limited amount of time, as well as brain cells I'm willing to sacrifice this project, I've decided to dumb down the environment to make it a bit more manageable to work with. In this case, I've decided instead of having our AI tackle the entire game, we'll just pressure it to face one single boss fight. And so let's get into the grit of the characteristics of such an environment, and also try to understand how our agent can affect it.
The state in an Elden Ring boss fight can be represented by various variables, such as the agent's position in the arena, the position of the boss and its health, the exact animation the boss is performing, and the health and stamina of the agent.
Now comes the time to understand how the agent can affect the environment, which goes hand in hand with an explanation of Elden Ring's game mechanics.
Elden Ring retains a very familiar Souls-like combat system, where you need to commit to an animation. So once you commit to swinging that sword or performing any other attack or movement, there's no turning back during its animation. So the possible actions you can take are rolling, which gives you a few frames of invincibility, or you can backstep, a not really useful tool that puts a little space between you and the enemy. Then you can cast a spell with the offhand, or even block. Then of course you can use a light and heavy attack with the melee weapon you're provided. Then you can utilize flasks to heal. And you can also utilize a weapon art off your weapon, which is a unique skill on the weapon. So Elden Ring also offers our agent a set of new actions separate from what we are used to in the other games in the Souls series. So they include the ability to jump, and the ability to performing a light or a heavy jumping attack.
Earlier, we went over the fact that a reinforcement learning agent's goal is to maximize its cumulative reward over a period of time. And in order to maximize that cumulative reward, it needs to develop some sort of good policy, which is basically a mapping of what actions it should perform in a particular state of the environment. And another thing that comes when we think about policy is what sorts of outcomes should be punished or rewarded. So I sat down and thought about how I learned the game and came up with this system.
First, let's summarize what results in a reward. So, an action that decreases the health of the boss, or an action that raises the health of the player, or of course, killing the boss. And now let's see what actions result in a punishment. So, the health of the player decreasing, death, and not dealing damage to the boss for a long period of time.
We will be using the Proximal Policy Optimization reinforcement learning technique. PPO leverages two neural networks, a value neural network and a policy neural network. Let's understand what they are and how they work together.
Imagine your character is a student learning to fight the boss, but they also have two special tutors, the policy coach and the value critic. The policy coach is basically a tutor that helps your character directly with their actions. It observes the game situation and suggests the most likely good option. So the coach uses a special brain called a policy neural network to analyze the situation and make these suggestions. The value critic, on the other hand, is a tutor that helps your character understand the overall value of different situations. It looks at the current situation and predicts how good or bad things are likely to go from this point. So the critic uses another special brain called the value neural network to make these predictions. So our character receives suggestions from the policy coach and considers the overall value from the value critic before deciding on an action. Through many iterations, both tutors learn. So the policy coach is adjusted based on the actual outcome of the action. So that means if there is a success that is achieved, that means the suggestion given by the policy coach is a good suggestion. Meanwhile, if there is failure on the part of the AI character, that means the suggestion given by the policy coach was probably a bad suggestion. So the value critic learns to better predict the value of different situations based on the rewards received. So the PPO, like a wise headmaster, oversees both of these tutors. It keeps the policy coach focused on making small improvements to the current strategy, not throwing out good suggestions entirely. This ensures the character keeps learning from their mistakes without getting confused by drastic changes.
So now it's time to create a software toolkit that will allow us to train our reinforcement learning model in Elden Ring. Now, such a software toolkit should be capable of many functions, such as allowing the player to be controlled, also auto-walking players from checkpoints to boss fights, interpreting screenshots of the game to extract the information we require to find the state variables, and also, of course, provide a robust solution for training AI reinforcement learning models on. So because such a project has never been done for this particular use case, we will probably have to build this entire software toolkit from scratch. Unless, wait a minute, here's an idea.
Take a look at this repository in Okram 444's GitHub. It contains most of the functionalities we need and is a good place to start for such an environment. The first minor issue is dependencies. So the repository doesn't have a requirements file, so it's a bit of guesswork with what additional libraries we need. Luckily, I have a bit of experience with the gem and stable baseline versions that are compatible with the recommended version of Python in this project, so it was a breeze getting the project to work on my virtual environment. The project was built to control player movement by having all the actions be interpreted by the computer as keyboard input. But a few of the new rebinded key combinations were not included in the README, so I had to fetch them directly from the code. The function that took screenshot information of the game and helped determine state values of the player's environment was quite well built, and only just required a little adjustment to the values used to crop important details, like loading screen messages, health bars, and the stamina bar, which for some reason was quite off in the original repository. I fixed the boss auto walk, which for some reason kept having the player character make out with ledges, and added a few quality of life changes so I wouldn't have to crash the terminal every time I wanted to end training. I set the reward and punishment values for certain outcomes, and got ready for the next stage.
So let's create our Elden Ring character and get straight to training.
I chose the Prophet class as it comes with a pretty generic weapon and spell, which is what I was going for, and the accompanying stats allow our characters to survive a few solid hits, but not tank enough damage to trivialize the challenge entirely. I strolled up to greet the best girl in the game, ready to charm, but instead I promptly took a nosedive off a cliff out of sheer embarrassment. Next thing I knew, I woke up in some Reddit moderator's basement. I proceeded to head out to touch some grass, but that might have been a mistake. My real life self was called out for my lack of game. Not once, but
Yes, you have. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless.
twice.
But you, I am afraid, are maidenless.
So I dusted myself off, parked my character at the first important checkpoint, or grace if you will, and handed the steering wheel over to the AI. Because let's face it, if anyone's going to navigate this virtual roller coaster of embarrassment, it might as well be our naive AI friend. So let's have a walkthrough of how this works. A screen capturing tool waits for a loading screen before triggering an auto walk script. This script guides the player character to the boss arena. Then our character locks into the boss, and then the real magic starts. In intervals of zero point 0.5 seconds, a screenshot of the game is taken, and values like player stamina, player health, and boss health are read. These values, alongside a processed screenshot of the arena, are provided as input to the AI model, which then suggests an action to take. Feedback from previous actions, which also come from state information, allows the value and policy networks to improve themselves. After about 500 of these half-second intervals, which number around 20 deaths, our gym environment saves the latest version of the AI model in storage. After a round of training, that is, every time a new version of the AI model is saved in storage, we pause training and give our character a random upgrade. Before that happens, though, let's appreciate the first round of training against the Beastman of Farum Azula. Initially, our AI felt the best strategy was to repetitively attack the Beastman, as the rush of decreased boss health was a greedy but direct path to a high cumulative reward. However, after only 8 to 9 deaths, the AI started to pick up on how it could get even more hits per attempt if it learned to dodge certain attacks by rolling and jumping. While not immediately adept at exploiting openings, it was beginning to learn when to use all of the offensive tools in its repertoire. So this concludes the progress for the first half hour or first round of training, which means it's time to spin the wheel and see what upgrade our Tarnished will get. I hope you enjoyed that last fight. Now let's see which upgrade we're going to give our character. This is probably the one choice that will give us the largest damage boost, so I'm all in for it. I decided to channel my inner rodeo clown and grab the reins. First order of business, jumping a clearly dehydrated blueberry Jolly Rancher who only had a single ball, which I proceeded to take. Hey, gotta get upgrade materials somehow, right? Next up, I dealt with a band of discount Gollum impersonators trying their luck outside the Dragon Barrel gift shop. Let's just say they won't be winning any Best Hobbit costume awards anytime soon. Their loss, my shiny new money gain. Finally, I requested our definitely not enslaved blacksmith to upgrade my short spear only once. Can't wait to face round 2 of training. In round 2, we'll witness the AI tackle the Beastman again for another 500 training iterations, building on the model generated in round 1. And oh boy, do we have something impressive to look at. You can see how expertly our player navigates the arena and launches attacks in the best attempt of round 2. This round, the AI takes a step towards going Matrix mode, learning to exploit dodge windows with ninja-like strafes I never knew existed in this fight. And guess what? No pats on the back from me necessary. Thanks to Proximal Policy Optimization, the AI basically high-fives itself. One thing that still needs work, the AI's apparent refusal to drink health replenishing flasks. The rare few times it tries, it picks moments that would make a kamikaze pilot blush. Here's to hoping future training sessions teach it the art of the well-timed swig without becoming a giant glowing target for the boss. The AI also needs to work on its panic button reflexes. It can dodge the first punch in a boss combo like a champ, but then forgets all its fancy footwork and gets pummeled like a table at a Red Hands game. This flailing in the face of danger is a classic Elden Ring newbie behavior, but hey, hoping more training will turn this flailing chicken into a graceful dodging machine. And now comes the time to spin the wheel for the next upgrade. Okay, I promise this wasn't rigged, but that doesn't change the fact it may be the best upgrade on the wheel. Feeling a little light on runes, I decided to revisit my favorite local gathering spot, the Vertically Challenged Social Club. Let's just say a spirited negotiation with one of its esteemed members yielded enough coin to give my trusty spear another power-up. This allowed the misbegotten slave, diversity hire, to upgrade my spear one more time. Cue round 3 of training. I went into the third round with high hopes, and unfortunately they remain nothing beyond hopes. The Beastman of Farum Azula remains undefeated after this round, but that doesn't mean our AI hasn't learned a few new tricks. Often it chooses to rapidly circle around the boss, which greatly reduces the effort required to dodge attack combinations. It often tries to consume flasks, but that mostly results in a punishment for its terrible timing, further discouraging the AI from using them in battle. The AI is also beginning to learn how to exploit staggerable attacks consistently, so it can knock the boss out of certain animations, leaving it open to more attacks. Nothing else significant happened, so here's the best attempt from the 33 deaths I witnessed. Now here's the time to spin the wheel. I want to give our friend the Dragon Trust Shield Talisman, which will allow it to take a few more hits before meeting its destined death. 10% more damage to be precise. It is found not far off from the gremlins we were farming for runes. The bats here are annoying, and so are the tight jumps to reach the talisman, but it's worth it in the end. In the fourth round of 500 training iterations, the AI slowly improved the consistency of the different dodging tactics it had learned, including jumps, well-timed dodges, and strafing circles around the Beastman. Unfortunately, it was still struggling with the 5-swing combo the boss tended to do, where the Beastman swings its cleaver around like a twister and lands from the air to provide a free but messy lobotomy. Enjoy the best attempt of this round while I prepare the upgrade wheel. The upgrade wheel is ready. Let's see what our AI friend gets now. I'll give my player 3 levels of stamina. Hopefully it doesn't encourage our AI to act more aggressively, as it could train the sick dodges we get to see outside the agent's policy. So let's cue round 5. Honestly, I didn't observe anything significant happening in this round compared to the previous ones. It was mainly getting the hang of when to use specific dodge types. Most deaths this round resulted from trying to be greedy with attacks and flask usage. Enjoy the best attempt of this round while I prepare the upgrade wheel. The upgrade wheel is ready. Let's see what our AI friend gets now. An opportunity to increase the health of our player might turn this challenge around. So let's come back with 5 more levels of health. Cue round 6. Round 6 brought an exciting policy change. The AI finally learned to identify good opportunities to consume health replenishing flasks. Additionally, it was gratifying to see the AI consistently whittle down more than half of the Beastman's health in each attempt this round. Enjoy the best attempt of this round while I prepare the upgrade wheel. The upgrade wheel is ready. Let's see what our AI friend gets now. Armor is an effective way to determine physical damage to the player character, so I'll grab a mediocre chestplate for our flame-slinging prophet. Cue round 7. Let me spare you a boring explanation and directly show you all the attempts the AI made in this round. The AI has conquered the Beastman of Farum Azula after 164 deaths and 3100 training iterations. Looks like this machine learning experiment actually paid off, unlike my attempts at impressing Melina. Throughout training, the AI exhibited various funky behaviors on its quest to increase its cumulative reward function. Although its behavior wouldn't be considered perfect, no one who plays this game for the first time is perfect either, so I consider this a well-deserved victory for the AI. For me, this journey was filled with learning, a lot of coding, research, and a little patience to achieve this result. Without any supervision or being part of a larger team, getting the project to work was a real challenge. Fortunately, those I talked to about the project, including friends and family, encouraged me not to give up when I approached the many roadblocks that came with training a reinforcement model. The project could do with many more optimizations with respect to its reward and punishment function, or character control scheme, or even character build. I would hate to leave the project unfinished after so much effort and potential, so I've decided the AI deserves another challenge.
Foul tarnished. In search of the Elden Ring. Emboldened by the flame of ambition. These foolish ambitions to rest.
I can't wait to tackle more projects like this in the future. If they're entertaining and I find myself with the irrational urge to edit videos for hours on end, I'll definitely post them on this channel. Thanks for sticking with the video to the end. Whether you came here and learned something new or just enjoyed the video, I appreciate you being here.